It's always an unfortunate situation when a lawyer is given 5 minutes to speak. I've never been in this situation. There's discrimination of some sort because there was a lawyer that spoke for more. I know he's a minister, but anyway. So when you're investing in Zimbabwe, I was a diaspora myself. I went back in 2007 from England here. And when we went back, lawyers were poor, everybody was poor, so we did a lot of businesses. We didn't have these platforms. You tried different things, so please do not underrate or underestimate the quality of the investments you're being given. You're being guided to where you can invest your money. That is the first thing, and it is very critical. And for the purposes of time, when I'm advising people that are coming from the diaspora, I always say, please stay within the professions that you know. It's even more useful if you follow whatever profession you're doing here, and then you transfer ideas and technology to Zimbabwe. It is a treacherous field, I tell you, if you dive into industries you do not know. I went, I lost a lot of money, and then I came back to law, where I knew. And then from then on, you can start to proceed and succeed. My presentation was going to be focused on foreign and diaspora trade and investment because it's different. For the foreign investors, we have what they call the ZIDA Act, which basically has equalized the foreign investor with the local investor in the sense that there's no discrimination. Once you have registered the investment and you have what they call an investment license. So you can invest in all sectors of our economy. Your investment is protected against expropriation or by the government or anybody else, and you are allowed to transfer funds from Zimbabwe to wherever you're located. That opportunity is also open even for the diaspora investor who's a local. You can register your investment with ZIDA, and still you get the same benefits of being able to transfer money from Zimbabwe, that we're talking about your capital and profits. So it's a useful thing to do, besides just the protection that the investment will get by registration with ZIDA. And then obviously I noticed that there are Zimbabweans who are Zimbabweans by descent, or even the Zimbabweans who came here before 2013, who, because of the law at that time, had to renounce citizenship for Zimbabwe. It is useful and beneficial that if you are that kind of Zimbabwean, you re-register as a citizen, because there are benefits that accrue by citizenship. We are having a policy that is being talked about farms being securitized. I do not know, the government personnel here will be able to tell us how far that has gone. But I'll tell you, from a commercial perspective, the demand on land is so high that if land becomes transferable, and I would assume there will be a bit of caveats or encumbrances that it should be transferable between Zimbabweans, at least in the first instance, there are going to be a lot of sales of farmland, and I would project that basic things like citizenship would be sorted out before then, so that children who are born here of Zimbabwean descent can enjoy the benefits of dual citizenship. Because a dual citizen, in terms of our constitution, is regarded as a local citizen or a domestic investor. So there are benefits that accrue from that. Because I would have to rush, I'll just talk about other things you can look at. Honorable Minister Magomo spoke about focusing on businesses that are running. He was really obviously looking at his own constituency, but that goes to everywhere. You can look at businesses in corporate rescue or in liquidation as a start. What we have noticed, those of us that are in legal, is that our biggest issue in Zimbabwe with our businesses that are in corporate rescue, it's a liquidity issue more than it is a structural problem with the business. You'll find that if you're dealing with companies in corporate rescue in South Africa, or I don't know if you call it judicial management here or you call it corporate rescue, most of them in South Africa have a structural problem in the business. It's not because of access to liquidity, but 80% of our businesses in Zimbabwe, when they go into corporate rescue, it's a cash flow problem more than anything else. Debts would have become due before payments have come into the business. And a business like that is open for investments. And if you have access to cheap capital like you have here, there are a lot of businesses that you can come into on favorable terms. I mean, our labor is cheap. It's relatively cheap. So our costs are really low. And if you're looking at investing in provinces, rural provinces, most of the tourism, if you go to most of these tourist areas, now you pass through Misha, Zevan, and then all of a sudden there's this beautiful property. It's like you're somewhere else. And I'm sure the cost of investment there, because it's sold by a rural district, is different. And we're talking about exposure. What you have benefited from the diaspora is exposure to some of these things. We just require a transfer of ideas and you'll be able to make a lot of money in Zimbabwe. There's a lot of money floating around. Most of the industries and businesses are booming at this moment in time. I would actually advise that people come in, set up structures quickly, and then they take advantage of what's going on. The critical thing for you as you're coming in, I'll summarize, is how you then set up the structures. If you're going to set them up through trusts, you set up through companies. A company is a must. You must always have a company. And on that note, those people that left Zimbabwe with companies, we have a statutory instrument that came out that says you'd have to re-register your company by April next year. Otherwise, it will be deleted from the register of companies. Why? Because we are integrating from the manual to the digital. And that's the same thing that's going to happen with our title deeds. We just don't have the implementation model on when the title deed system is starting from the government. But our title deeds are going to be moved from the manual also to digital so that we can deal with issues of due diligence and being able to follow up. So things like joint ventures are critical. Due diligence is a must because we have a lot of salespeople in Zimbabwe who can sell you a good game. So you do not save money by not doing a thorough due diligence. Do your thorough due diligence, and if it's companies obviously in corporate rescue or liquidation, whoever the corporate rescue practitioner or liquidator would be would have done that due diligence on your behalf.